Luke Boyenger is the CEO of Kazumi CFO and Advisory, specializing in fractional CFO services for construction companies. With deep industry expertise, Luke helps businesses enhance profitability, optimize cash flow, and achieve long-term financial stability. Today, we are talking about capital investment decisions, which is a fancy way of saying, when do you rent? When do you buy? When do you make these kinds of equipment decisions? So I thought we'd start off, Luke. At some point, it makes sense to invest in new or better, more efficient equipment for companies. What are the things you'd want contractors to consider, though, before they go and make that investment?
First and foremost, what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve not only this year, but over the next 3, 5, 10 years? What is your timeline? Where are you trying to go? What are you trying to accomplish? And what is the cash flow that is necessary to achieve those goals versus what is the cash flow that you have in the business today? Because the answer to those questions is very dependent on what you as a specific organization are trying to accomplish. There is no one right answer for everybody. You have to pick the option that works for you and your goals and what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to manage cash flow and cash flow is critical and number one priority, then we're going to go with the option that is most favorable from a monthly cash flow perspective. If your cash flow is awesome, you've got plenty of money in the bank and that's not really what you're worried about, we're looking at how do we acquire this asset in the most cost-effective manner possible, which may not be the thing that's best for cash flow, but it's the best in the long term in terms of total cost of owning that piece of equipment. So it just depends, where are you as a company? Where are you trying to go? What are your goals? And what's the plan to get there?
If somebody's thinking through, should I rent, should I buy, other than those like cash flow questions, what are kind of the check marks you're going to go through with them to decide, like, does it make sense? Do they have the utilization that it makes sense to buy, or are there other considerations that go into that?
Yeah, that's a big one. Utilization for sure. Let's say you're renting a skid loader all the time because the ones that you own currently aren't enough to meet the demand of the jobs that you have. I mean, if we're talking about you rent a skid loader twice a year to fill a seasonality gap, we're probably not going out and buying a skid loader, right? That probably doesn't make sense. But if it's every single month, we're spending tens of thousands of dollars renting skid loaders because we don't have enough of them. Well, that's a completely different consideration. And it's really just that point of, where does the cost of renting one exceed the cost of just actually going out and buying one? And again, that's a question of, I always start with cash flow. What is the burden on cash flow? I mean, if we're paying 10 grand a month renting skid loaders, can we make a payment on a skid loader for that and meet the need? Okay, then let's go buy it. But part of the problem is people try to make these decisions before they really understand their cash flow in the first place. They just see, oh, I feel pressure. I feel uncomfortable. So I don't necessarily love where my cash flow is, but I don't know why. I don't know why I feel that cash flow is tight. I don't know why I'm constantly running out of money. And then they want someone to help them answer the question, should I buy? Should I lease? I mean, what's the best option for me? You're not ready to answer that question yet. You haven't done your homework in terms of understanding the numbers in your business and your cash flow position month over month to be able to go and make a good decision about whether you should buy, pay cash, finance, lease, whatever the options are.
Are there any potential tax benefits or like other benefits that need to be considered when comparing purchasing or renting?
You said my least favorite word.
No one likes taxes.
Tax. Yeah. So let me be clear. I am a CPA, but I'm not a tax guy, right? I haven't spent my career doing tax returns for people and putting together complex tax strategies and all that kind of stuff. So if tax is your thing, then I'm probably not your guy. But what I will tell you is, stop worrying about taxes. People worry about taxes way too freaking much. And at the end of the day, making the decision that has the best tax impact is almost never the best decision. You make the decision that's best for your business, and the taxes just are what they are, and you got to suck it up and accept it.
Is there anything else that you'd leave people with when it comes to this? Like they're thinking about, I want to grow my business. I'm getting a handle on my cash position, understanding how much in the bank is mine. Is there anything else that you'd leave them with when it comes to like, okay, now I've got to make some big purchases. I've got to make some decisions on what equipment I'm going to buy and when I'm going to buy it to grow my business.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have your cash flow nailed down, like dialed in really, really well, then I'm defaulting to making the choice that's most favorable from a cash flow perspective. I mean, if I can lease and the monthly payment is lower than the payment on financing it, then I'm probably going to do that. Like, how can I get that piece of equipment into my business, earning me revenue for the least amount of cash flow possible on a month over month basis? If I don't know my numbers, that's what I'm going with just by default because cash is my biggest concern.